Hello, today we have another designer-inspired tutorial. Today we're making the gorgeous Provence dress. This tutorial can also guide you to sew the Penelope blouse. The Provence dress and Penelope blouse are nearly identical with just one key difference. The Provence opens in the back while Penelope opens in the front. So it's basically the same dreamy ruffles and the same elegant silhouette. You can find the links to the PDF patterns down below, and if you'd rather have one custom made for you, I'm currently accepting commission orders, and the details are also in the description. So let's get started with this. This pattern comes in sizes 32 to 50, and it's a more complex design, so I would recommend making it if you're an experienced sewist. Here's everything you're going to be needing for the tutorial. This pattern comes in formats A0, US letter, and A4. In this case, I'll be using the size A0. So the first thing you have to do is print out your pattern so you can tape it together and cut out your desired size. Today I'm going to be making size 36, so I'm going to be cutting all of that pattern pieces. For this dress, I'll be using chiffon in this gorgeous magenta color. You could also use a double georgette in whichever color you'd like. And I'll be using the same fabric for the lining dress. I'll be using the recommended layout to cut out all of my pattern pieces, so make sure to follow the instructions on the pattern booklet. Once you've cut all of your pattern pieces, remember you have to cut and transfer the notches to every pattern piece that has one. So here I'm just cutting small notches where needed. And remember to also cut some notches on the fold line of pattern pieces that are cut on fold. Okay, so let's start sewing. The first pattern piece you're going to grab is the front bodice, and you're going to make it stitch between both notches on the neckline. And you're going to make a gathering stitch between the notches on the neckline. And you're going to gather it until it measures the same as the two notches from the collar. Grab your back yoke binding and you're going to fold the long edges inward about 7 millimeters and press. You're going to do this for both sides of the binding. And then you're going to fold it in half and press again. It should look something like this. We're going to use both of those bindings to finish off the raw edges of the center back. Make sure to pin it in place and then stitch over it. Now you're going to match the back bodice and the back bodice yokes with the right sides together. So start aligning it from the center back all towards the side. And you're going to stitch leaving a 1.2 centimeter seam allowance. In this case, I'm going to start sewing right at the center towards one of the armholes. And then on the other side, also starting at the center until I reach the side. After doing the straight stitch, remember to zigzag stitch or overcast the raw edges. And don't forget to press the seam. Next, we're going to be working on the hem on the outer edge of the back bodice ruffle. What I did was fold it first about 5 millimeters, then straight stitched all around, and then folded it again and straight stitched all around again. The key is to press in between each layer so you have a really nice finish. Here's how it looks after sewing the first layer, and now you just have to fold it again, as I said, and stitch again. And this is how it finally looks after sewing all the hem. I made sure to really press it down properly so it looks really nice. And we're going to attach this ruffle to the back bodice. Remember, you should have notches on both of these panels, and you're going to start aligning it from there. In this case, we're going to match the wrong sides together and sew about 3 millimeters from the edge. This is because we're going to be making a French seam, which is where we enclose a seam with another seam. So after sewing that first stitch line, you're going to enclose the layer and sew about 5 millimeters from the edge. After you're done sewing, make sure to press it open. Now grab the front bodice and you're going to match the front and back bodices with right sides together and sew the shoulders at 1.2 centimeters. Remember, you also have to overcast or zigzag stitch the raw edges. Now you're going to grab one of your color ruffle pieces and a couple of color back flying ruffles. And you're going to match the straight edges of the color ruffle with the edges of the flying ruffles with the wrong sides of the fabric together. And we're also going to be making a French seam on this one. You're going to repeat this on the other color ruffle and other couple of color back flying ruffles until you get both of these beautiful ruffles. grab one of those ruffles and you're going to match its wrong side with the right side of the bodice neckline together. Remember to align the centers together and the seams of the ruffles with the back bodice yoke center edges. And you're going to stitch leaving a 1.2 centimeter seam allowance. Now you're going to grab the collar and you're going to match the collar ruffle of the bodice neckline and the collar with right sides together. Make sure to align the notches of the collar with neckline gathering and shoulder seams. And the edges of the collar with the back bodice yoke center edges. And you're also going to leave a 1.2 centimeter seam allowance. So you're basically going to be sewing over the same stitch you made previously. After that, you can overcast the seam allowance and press. And it should look something like this. Now, lay your panel just like this over your table. And you're going to match the wrong side of the second color ruffle and the right side of the first color ruffle and collar together. And you're going to sew leaving a 3mm seam allowance. Remember, you have to align the centers and the seams. We're also going to be making a French seam over here, so now you have to match the right side of the second color ruffle and the wrong side of the first color ruffle, and so leaving a 6mm seam allowance. Now we're going to make the hem on both color ruffles, so fold the edges of the color ruffles twice, about 5mm, and sew. And they should look like this. Remember, this is basically what we did with the previous ruffles as well. Next, we're going to match the sleeves 1 and the armholes with the right sides of the fabric together. The sleeves have a front and back side, so make sure to use them properly. Match the front side with the front side of the bodice. I pinned it in place and I'm going to be stitching leaving a 1.2 cm seam allowance. And you have to do the same for the other side. Don't forget to overcast and press the raw edges. We're going to continue by closing the underarm seams, so match the sleeve sides and the bodice sides with right sides of the fabric together. You're going to leave a 1.2 centimeter seam allowance, and don't forget to overcast and press. Grab your sleeve ruffles 1, 2, 3, and 4, and we're going to hem all of them, doing the same technique we've been doing for the rest of the ruffles. Now grab these 3 panels and you're going to fold them in half and stitch the sides. Make sure that the right sides of the fabric are facing each other. And don't forget to zigzag stitch or overcast the seam allowance. Grab sleeve 4 and sleeve ruffle 4 and match them with right sides of the fabric together, just like this as I'm showing you. Make sure to align with the notches that you have. Sew at 1.2 centimeters and overcast the seam allowance as well. Now you're going to grab another sleeve 4 and you're going to match its right side with the wrong side of the sleeve ruffle 3 together. And you're going to sew the same way, leaving a 1.2 centimeter seam allowance. Next, you're going to match the sleeve 3 and the sleeve ruffle 3 with right sides of the fabric together. You also have to align the centers and the seams as we've been doing, and you're going to stitch all around, leaving the same 1.2 centimeter seam allowance. And you're going to overcast the edge. And this is how your sleeve should be looking right now. Grab another one of the sleeves 3 and match its right side with the wrong side of the sleeve ruffle 2. And you're going to sew them together. Now you're going to match the sleeve 2 and the sleeve ruffle 3 with right sides together, just as I'm showing you right here. Don't forget to always align the centers and the seams. After stitching, remember to overcast the raw edges. Now we're going to attach the last ruffle to our sleeves. So match the right side of sleeve 2 and the wrong side of the sleeve ruffle 1. And you're going to sew normally, leaving a 1.2 centimeter seam allowance. Your sleeve is finally ready, and you have to repeat all of these steps on the other sleeve until you have 2 of them. It's time to attach the sleeves. Here I've already attached one side so you can see how it looks, but we're going to be attaching the other one as well. You have to match the sleeve and the sleeve ruffle with the right sides of the fabric together, and so leaving a 1.2 centimeter seam allowance. So you're going to be sewing over the previous seam as well. We have notches, so make sure to align them with the side seam and the seam on the sleeve. And now both of your sleeves should be attached to your main bodice. Next, grab your back skirt waistline ruffle, and you're going to match them together with the wrong sides of the fabric facing each other. We're also going to be making a French seam over here, so remember, first sew about 3 millimeters from the edge, then enclose that same stitch and sew about 6 millimeters from the edge. And for this ruffle, we also have to hem the outer edge. And from the top edge to the notch, just like I'm showing you here. So basically the center of the inner layer won't have a hem. Now match the front and back skirt ruffles together with the right sides of the fabric. Now match the front and back skirt waist ruffles with the right sides of the fabric together, and so leaving a 1.2 centimeter seam allowance. Don't forget to overcast and press the seam. You're going to repeat this on the front and back skirt bottom ruffles. For the waist and bottom ruffle, we're also going to hem the bottom edge. Moving on to the skirt, we're going to match the front and back skirts with right sides of the fabric together. Sew and overcast the raw edges. We're going to continue by matching the wrong side of the skirt waist ruffle and the right side of the skirt, just like I'm showing you here. Make sure to line the seams on both panels and the notches. And we're going to stitch it together at 1.2 centimeters. You're going to match the skirt bottom ruffle and the skirt bottom edge with right sides of the fabric together. Make sure to match the seams on both panels. Your skirt panel should be looking like this. Now we're going to match the wrong side of the back skirt waist flying ruffle and the right side of the skirt waistline. Here you have to make sure that you're aligning the seam of the flying ruffle with back skirt waistline center and the edges of the flying ruffle with the back skirt waistline notches. This is how it should be looking right now. You're currently looking at the back side of the skirt. Next, we're going to grab our back waistline bindings and we're going to sew both shorter edges by folding the edge twice and sewing. Now we're going to attach the upper bodice and the skirt panel. Make sure to match the skirt and bodice with the right sides of the fabric together. And make sure that you're facing the back side of the skirt with the back side of the upper bodice. Here I've pinned everything together, and as you can see, this is the front side and this one with a seam is the back side. You're going to stitch at 1.2 centimeters. Now facing the back side of the skirt, we're going to match the waistline and back waistline bindings with right sides together. Here I'm aligning the center back with the start of each binding and placing it until we reach each side seam, just like this. Make sure to pin it in place and we're going to stitch leaving a 1 centimeter seam allowance. I started stitching from the center back towards the side, and then again from the other center towards the other side. After we've done that, we're going to fold the raw edge of the binding to enclose the seam allowance of the waistline. And we're going to be making a tunnel for the straps to go in. I suggest using your iron, so press how you want the tunnel to look and then pin it in place. We're going to stitch all around the tunnel. As you can see, we're left with an opening over here on the center back. And here's where we're going to insert the straps that we're going to do now. So for the straps, cut 2 rectangles that are 4 centimeters by 70 centimeters. And we're going to fold the long edges. And then fold them in the middle and press. Now to close the straps, we're going to do a straight stitch on both of them. And you should be left with 2 straps like this. Now we're going to insert one of these straps right into the back waistline tunnel. And we're going to fasten them on the sides. Repeat that on the other side as well. Finally, it's time to construct the lining. So as you know, we already printed the pattern and cut out our panel pieces, which are both of these. And now we have to transfer the notches to the front lining panel. And now I'm going to close the darts, just like this, pin them in place, and stitch. This is how your front lining panel should look like. With all of your bindings, you're going to fold the long edges inward and press, and then fold them in the middle and press again until you have straps like this. And we're going to insert the neckline of the back into the corresponding binding, just like this. Make sure to pin it properly and then stitch. We're going to attach the front binding the same way as we did with the back one. And you're also going to insert the armholes of the front into the corresponding bindings. In this case, you're going to stitch until you finish the entire strap. Now that that's ready, you're going to match the front and back with the right sides of the fabric together. And you're going to sew on the sides, leaving a 1 cm seam allowance. Make sure to align the notches and overcast and press at the end. We're almost done here. We just have to attach the straps to the back. Remember, we have notches over there. So just make a top stitch over them. And last but not least, we're going to hem the bottom edge of the lining by doing the same we've been doing all along, which is folding the bottom edge twice at about 7 mm and sewing. And you're finally done with your gorgeous Provence dress. You can't tell me this is the dreamiest, prettiest dress ever. It's so beautiful. It does take time to make, but it's all worth it. Remember, you can also order a costume dress with us, so make sure to check the details on the link down below. If you want to check out the pattern, remember it's also linked in the description.